is the 49ers offense close to an impasse? The reason we ask this question is they just made their all-in move. They've got a ton of talent. They brought in Christian McCaffrey, and yet they only scored 23 points in this last game against a bad defense, which makes you wonder, how much can Christian McCaffrey do, and is there something else limiting this offense?
Yeah, they're close to the impasse because, look, after that game, we knew Christian McCaffrey was going to be a major role player in that last game against the Chiefs. So after seeing that, it's like, dude, it's just more of the same. It doesn't matter what defense they play, but it's also because we know what the story is of them. Just get a lead ahead against them, whether it's 7 to 10 points, especially 10 points. The Niners are pretty much screwed for the most part offensively, and it forces them to put it into Jimmy's hands. But look, it's going to come to an impasse if Christian McCaffrey, if he's not the answer soon. And it should start being a large step taken from the Chiefs game to the Rams game, because he did have a relatively sizable snap count, I would say, in role he had last week. So now that should probably be doubled, maybe tripled against the Rams. And if it doesn't look well then, especially if they lose and they get stonewalled or they don't look as great, because it's not like they looked that great against the Rams in the first game anyways at home on Monday night. And if it's not going to bounce back or do something that you can, catapult yourself on coming out of the bye, then it's like I have zero hope that this offense is going to improve, especially because, Kyle Shanahan's not going to learn from his mistakes.
Seeing Christian McCaffrey in person, I thought he was extremely impressive. Like, I actually thought he was more impressive on the Niners than I saw him in person in Carolina, because clearly he's the focal point of the defense when he's in the opposing defense when he's in Carolina, and people just tee off on him. Here, there's more space, and he did look explosive. Yeah. That being said, as soon as Kyle Shanahan got through his script, he ran out of all creative ways to use Christian McCaffrey and just started running him up between the tackles and got nothing out of him. So, there are two big things going on with this offense right now that Christian can't save. The fact that Kyle runs out of all good ideas after his script. His offense falls apart after the script. Christian can't save that. And then the quarterback can't throw down the field. So no matter how many weapons you have on the offense, it's still a horizontal passing offense, which frankly doesn't scare anyone. And I mean, it might scare the Rams. It beats the Rams. But they have their own – it's not going to scare Buffalo or Philly or – you know what I'm saying? Kansas City, apparently. Any team that is a legitimate Super Bowl contender with a legitimate quarterback, the Niners can't compete. And this is a all-in Super Bowl or bust team. So great that you got, and that's the thing, you got Christian McCaffrey. Okay, now you went all in, but you're probably not going to win the Super Bowl. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to be in denial and say, just give Christian a few weeks? Or are you going to make another move at the deadline? I would make another move at the deadline, but it might be tricky. You got 5 days. 5 days.
With what picks? Where are they going to get to that? But we'll get to that in a second. But
right.
I'd say,
tricky.
Look, Christian McCaffrey is, I think, he's going to really hit his stride coming to the Chargers game, because there's going to be more weeks under his belt. He'll have the Rams. He'll have the bye week. Mm-hmm. But yeah, on Kyle's game scripting, it's for years now I've been saying, and other people as well, about how much of a great play caller and offensive genius he is. And a large part of that I always respected about him is the guy seemed like he was adaptable. And now it's becoming further from the truth. He's not adaptable. Every time he says hey, we have a game plan for this new defense, every week is new. No, it's not, Kyle. Every week I'm seeing the same type of styles that you're using for every single game. You don't adjust. It's literally my way or the highway sentimentality he has going on here. I would just love to see for him to really just get out of tendencies. The point of being a good play caller is to get out of your tendencies. Same thing with baseball. It's hey, we know he's going to throw that fastball, but if God forbid he throws that curveball we're not expecting. And Kyle was just and I know Jimmy hasn't been great, but there's times where I feel like you should really give him more of the ball of the chance, because it's becoming way too predictable. I mean, I feel like every time the Niners ran a back-to-back run, it was getting stuffed on the second run because they knew it was coming. So I would just like to see some out-of-tendency plays and give something for Garoppolo to build upon.
Well, I mean, the thing that's crazy is seeing Kyle fall apart after his script is man, you've been here for 6 years. You're getting worse. You're getting dumber. It doesn't make any sense, right? It can't possibly happen. So what is the explanation? He used to be able to make adjustments, or did he? I think this is what everyone's looking at. Was it McDaniel? Even his players, hold on. Wes Welker, McDaniel, John Embry, all these guys are gone, and now you replace them with Anthony Lynn and Brian Griese, and now you guys can't make a halftime adjustment? Was it you, Kyle, or are you Captain Kirk, and was that Spock? Are you taking all of Spock's ideas the whole time It kind of seems like he was. Like, he's like, hey, man, no one really knows who you are. You're 5'7". You kind of talk funny. I'm Mike Shanahan's son. If you want to make it in the NFL, stick with me. You could be my right hand man. You're never going to make it. You got to sort of be in the shadows, and you got to give me all your ideas. And let me put my name on your homework on our group projects. But you can make some good money in this league. And all of a sudden, he's like, actually, I'm a head coach now, too. And Kyle's like, damn it. Who's going to tell me what to do? And he's got nothing right now. That is disheartening. So maybe they could bring in a quarterback who has his own ideas. I don't know.
Yeah, so
let's talk.
Bring that in. But another
let's
thing
talk.
is also, like, was it last year that I mean, how much credence do we actually give to Mike McDaniel making the Debo Samuel transition a thing? I'd say a fair amount at least, right? So
Debo loves him. Debo loves Mike McDaniel. In the offseason, when Debo was like having that little tiff with the Niners and he was trying to make him jealous, where'd he go? Miami. Yep. Hang out. I was having lunch with McDaniel and stuff. Hey, man, a lot of these Niners players love McDaniel. Mostert. And, if there's a little bit of an exodus this offseason, I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of them go to Miami.
And why is Mostert having a good year and staying healthy, most importantly? Like a lot of these other players, it's like, damn, you get away from this team. It's like, not only does your success kind of still like maintain itself, at least relatively, but man, you suddenly health, Jerick McKinnon, all these, what's going on, man?